What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Great Lakes Outdoors podcast. This week's going to be a little bit different. We just got me and Alyx.
What up?
The Lonely Two. It's a late night. But we were just talking earlier today. I know last week's podcast was a little bit more on early season, but I felt like we just didn't cover all of it. And I felt like we could do a little bit better of a job for the people that are getting ready for this Sunday and getting their stuff ready and brushing in blinds and, that have been out there scouting and putting in work and, just really get down into it a little bit more.
Tuning the fine details.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's here, though. Doesn't it feel like it just ended?
Man. I feel like we just got out of turkey season.
I know.
In reality, I feel like you just shot that turkey.
I know.
It's
nuts.
Pretty nuts.
I feel like every weekend me and you have had has been booked the whole summer, already planned out.
It has been. And what's crazy is it's only going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to say worse, but it's going to just get more hectic. Yeah.
Yep.
Because, this upcoming weekend, it's the opening weekend. We're going up north. We're hunting with our buddy Corey up there, which sounds like we got a pretty good feed. Thank God, because we got nothing down here right now.
Yeah, we're struggling down south.
But a question on early season that I wanted to ask you, or even just this year in general, I should say. Coming from Wisconsin, you grew up over here, you bird hunted, you early season goose hunted over here, but then you moved to Wisconsin last year, you got with the group, you got in with them guys, you hunted with them, every weekend?
Oh, yeah.
What's kind of your vision, I guess you want to say, for this season, or what's your goal, or what do you see for this upcoming season?
Full season or early season?
We'll just go with the whole season, but I also kind of want you to touch on early season alone, because Wisconsin to Michigan in different areas, we talked about it before, where you're really not familiar yet, and nor is anybody that's even hunted with me for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, but
it's a whole different terrain. Even when you were living here,
oh yeah,
you weren't hunting in that area,
right?
So it's a whole different aspect of it. Also, what's your goals for, especially being a part of the team now? Your goals for this upcoming season?
I think my biggest goal is to learn where everything is at, because I kind of, like you said, even the other guys, we all have. There's so much locked down that it's a lot in the coverage from city to city, dude. There's a lot of fields, there's a lot of land, and I think the thing I'm most excited about this year is where I was running around goose hunting last year was a very small area of Wisconsin that was isolated by water, and now we have access. With you guys have access now to way more land and way more opportunities, way more fields to look at, way more scouting, and we're not just confined to that. Call it 20 miles of peninsula. Yeah.
And that's what's crazy even too, hearing the stories from you. Last year, you guys were chasing 150 birds around, right?
Yeah, literally. There was certain birds in that flock too that had distinct markings on them that it's stupid, but we would see them we'd see them everywhere we checked.
You knew. It's almost like having a double-banded goose.
Exactly, and you just knew it was those geese, and you're like, well, they jumped and they're over here now, but it's the same geese that have been getting shot at for the past 2 weeks.
And that's what's kind of crazy about even just here, opening weekend. I haven't even showed you the video yet. It's on my phone still. Opening weekend, our feed is looking like 250.
That's not right for open season. I just hope they stay.
They will.
I really hope they stay.
Will. It's a sweet cornfield.
That's right. It's sweet corn. Okay.
And half of it is still standing, and it's going to get cut. I think, if not, it already got cut this week. So there's a lot of fresh cut stuff in there.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of crazy, the fact that Wisconsin and the population over there, and we're hunting an opening day field where typically you might be shooting like 40 geese.
Yeah.
We're shooting like 250 this year.
That's gnarly.
You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
chased 150 year, or like last year, all year.
All year.
But now, and I think that's what makes us as a group stand out more, is because I got it down to where, and that sounds bad, I know it does. And I know you like when I say that. But I got it down to a point where we're not hunting the same roost every day. We're letting birds rest for the week or the weekend, and we can jump to roost and not put too much pressure on our birds. And I think that's what makes us really pop more than other people's, because like other people only have X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. And they'll just blow it out and they'll kill anything.
And we got the whole alphabet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many opportunities for us to just jump around and not put as much pressure on these birds here.
I think that's a big piece too of what people don't understand, of how important that is to let those birds rest and make sure that they're not getting shot at because you're going to blow them out quicker than a freaking vent on a dryer. You know what I mean? That's going to be, yeah, you can't be doing that. You got to let birds rest. And I think when you have that amount of land and you have the opportunities that we have, that we're fortunate to have, you can kind of be choosy and picky, you know?
Yeah. And it does get tough at times because, I mean, especially previous years, it was hard for me to cover everything. But being smart, like even some of the conversations we were just having before we started recording this with, some of the companies, like, you got to be smart. Like Brandon's pond.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hunt that until the corn comes down next door, because I know the corn's going to fill up a lot more than the pond will.
Yeah.
But if you shoot up the pond, then they're probably not going to go to the corn. So you got to play it smart, just like I said, like the companies that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And it's a whole science behind all of this. I think a lot of people, they love it, but they're not like in love with it all.
Right.
They don't think that in depth with it all. They don't sit there and memorize like the early season spreads or where they're flying in from. They'll pass their field. Oh, there's a bunch of birds out there. Yeah, we'll hunt that tomorrow. They don't know where they're coming from. They don't really know decoy spreads, where to hide at. They're just going to figure out in the morning.
Yeah, that's very true.
And
from the people I've hunted with here, that is very accurate.
Well, and how many times in the morning everybody
chaotic as fuck.
It's getting frustrated because it's like,
I thought we grassed the blinds in yesterday.
Yeah, man. It's like,
what do you mean we don't have 4 dozen?
This looks good. This looks good from the shore.
Yeah. Oh God, I didn't know it looked like this in the dark.
Yeah,
if I would have known it looked like this, I would have never did it.
That's what I'm saying. It's just it takes that extra step, and that's what's going to really set you apart from everybody else.
Yeah, and the fact that there is so much land to pick from. Most people don't have that, man. So they're just hunting whatever. Like, I've been in that situation where you have to hunt whatever you got. You have to, because it's like if you don't, then you might miss opportunity.
And I am super fortunate, but like I always say, I don't want it to make it sound bad when I say this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't stitch your water, but I've also put so much time and effort and money into this whole thing.
Oh yeah,
where when people talk down on me or like our group, it makes you kind of just laugh because of the fact like they
have no idea.
They don't.
They have no idea how. They have no idea the man hours that are put into this thing.
No. It's just like I said the other day. The best quote is, "You're never going to find somebody that's talking down on you that's below you. Like you're not going to find somebody that's talking shit that's doing better than you.
100%.
The people are going to be doing better than you are going to be able to help you out and grow. The people below you are going to try to keep dragging you down so they're in your spot.
Exactly.
But I don't know. What in Wisconsin though? Like, what were you guys scouting? Like, same thing over here, like wheat fields, hay fields.
Wheat and hay. Yep.
And that's where you guys were mainly hunting, like all the time. Like any loaf ponds or anything.
Loaf ponds. I gotta think. No, I mean there was a lake that they came off of, and there was a quarry that they came off of.
Okay.
And then you had obviously both sides of the water, but pond-wise, there weren't ponds.
That's the thing where I
like
think
we'd have to go drive to a different area and just ask permission for the day if we wanted to shoot up a pond. You know what I mean? But we'd have to go way down south from where we were at. But where we were at, there's no ponds.
This was kind of weird, though, too, because a lot of early season... Well, I mean, I'll kind of break into this segment, which we just kind of started this last week. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
And know what your roost and your loaf is. Because don't shoot up a roost opening morning, especially if you have the fields around it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be screwing yourself at the end of the day.
Bad.
You're going to get there in
You're
the
screwing
morning.
yourself for weeks.
100%. Because once them birds are gone, they're gone.
They're gone.
So definitely know what a roost and a loaf is. And just don't ruin it for the rest of the guys out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just put the work in that everybody else is. And I know you're going to get a lot more no's than you are, yeah. But once you hit that one yes from somebody, that like the gates open up for everything else.
Yeah.
Like, it just, there's so many don't be that guys in September. Like, random guide services popping up.
Yeah. The biggest one I want to say is don't be that, and don't be that guy is don't shoot a hen wood duck and think it's a teal.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't.
There's been a lot of stories around that.
Yeah.
Around our area about that. That's for sure.
Like, yeah, don't do that. If you don't know, don't shoot. That's my best advice.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I never even really thought about getting into like the teal wise or like the even early season duck scouting.
Because you got to remember, big dog, that's usually all I did was teal hunt during this time, like by myself. So I did the early season goose, but I also did a lot of early season teal too, because I'd be by myself or with one other guy.
Because I mean, like early season teal for me,
and they're so good.
They are delicious.
So good.
They are delicious. It's just one of those things where, all right, we don't have a field. Let's just go sit on the water, relax a little bit, and if something comes through, then it comes through. But you got to go out there knowingly that you don't know everything.
Right.
Knowing that first light comes around, you're not just shooting to shoot. You're shooting to kill and to kill the right species. Because, I mean, even the mallards. I mean, how many people are shooting mallards early season? And that's a big debate with early season with the teal. Should we have an early teal season? Or should we even have an early youth season? Or should we have a youth season, especially in the like managed units, like a weekend just for the youth?
Yeah.
Because
my personal opinion is I think it does more harm than it does good. I think birds get used to it. That's when everything starts opening up. And you get those people that do shoot mallards, wood ducks, that don't know any better. And then all the other ducks in the area are hearing all these gunshots, and they're already getting accustomed to, all right, it's that time of year again, boys. Let's put the backpacks on. We're getting the fuck out of here, you know? Yeah, no, for sure. And it kind of makes me wonder, too, because the youth and veteran deer hunts even this year, or it starts next year, but that has even changed. Yeah. Have you heard about that at all? Yeah, that changed. It went back a weekend, right?
No, so youth and veterans with some certain circumstances, like
it's on the same weekend now.
It's always been.
Oh shit! Really?
But
shows you how big of a deer hunter I am.
You can only shoot does now, so there's no youths that can shoot bucks or anything or veterans unless it falls under a certain category. So it kind of makes me wonder: are they going to start changing other youth and veteran hunts besides deer hunting? Which I think personally, and I know a lot of people will have a hard time with that, with the kids and stuff. But I think it's a good idea to not have the kids go out there early season and shoot these monster bucks that are almost like not realistic.
Yeah.
Because it's
gives them an unrealistic expectation, I think.
It's almost ruining it for their life. I mean, they go out there their opening weekend and shoot we'll just say a limit of mallards or a 180 buck. You know, odds are you're going on public land or even private land for a deer wise. You're not going to be able to do that early season.
No.
So to be able to put that in the kids' minds, what's that doing down the road for them?
Right. You can compare that to everything.
So I don't know. It's a difficult situation. I know a lot of people are going to go back and forth with it, but
let me ask you something. What are you most excited about this year for season, duck and goose season?
proving people wrong.
I agree.
To be honest with you, I mean, I'm excited for the. It's kind of hard because the podcast alone here, with all the support from everybody else that we're getting, and with some of the sponsors helps, like GK's helped out a lot with getting people out to us and reaching out to people. I never even thought this podcast would be where it's at, right? So the opportunities that we've been given for this upcoming year with the videography and just reaching new limits, I guess, as a group or as a person myself, because 5-6 years ago, I never thought I would be in this situation where I'd have a whole podcast room or studio with that whole building, or I would have a spot where people are coming to me to, hey, where are we hunting this weekend? I never thought that, you know? So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that the year is going to bring me and us, because the sky's the limit with that. Right?
100%.
I mean, with Brian and Paul coming out and filming us this year, I'm excited to see the film behind it, because I've always took a passion behind that, but it's hard to do it while you're hunting. With
a dog?
Yeah, with a dog or two dogs, so it's hard to do that. So to be able to see that from a different perspective, or to see me, or like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Because that's what I think a lot of people don't understand too. They do a lot of things wrong, but they don't want to own up to it, or they don't look at a picture and diagnose it to say, oh man, we could have brushed them blinds in a little bit better, or if we would have tucked over here a little bit more, we'd have been a little bit better. You know what I mean? Just diagnosing the situation. But, I'm excited for that. But just lately, man, it just seems like a lot of like just downgrading and stuff. And again, I don't think a lot of people understand how much time and effort and money goes into all of this stuff. And I think they just think it's all handed to me.
Yeah.
Which I know they do, actually. I'm not even thinking, I don't think they know, or I don't think that they
think that.
I know that they think that.
Yeah.
So
they have the total excuse my French. They have the total freaking wrong idea. They have no, dude, we're together. Think about it. Me and you are pretty much together every day.
Yeah.
From 6 till 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Every freaking day, whether that's this, whether that's scouting, whether that's talking about plans for hunting, whether it's talking about plans for what we're doing for brushing blinds, whether it's talking about merch, you name it. They don't see that. They don't know that.
They just see the pictures. And that's one thing too this year. I think I really want to get more into like the action shots, not the pile pictures. You know, I want to get into more of like in the moment pictures. Because at the end of the day, the piles don't matter, and they don't matter to me. They never have mattered to me. But it's just one of them things.
You want some Ryan Campbell quality photos?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to do. But I think we got the right guys that are gonna be helping us out this year, that are gonna put us in the right direction. That's for sure. But just more quality hunts. So I want to be able to hunt with the right people. And I think a lot of people, especially in their early years of hunting, they go through a lot of groups and people that they bicker back and forth. And I'm really thinking that I'm finally getting the main core down of our guys.
I think we got the recipe. And I think just like, even with me only being here for about 6-7 months now, the way like our core guys get along and the way we talk things out and communicate, and on top of all that, the experience amongst the core guys, man, it's a force. It's a force to be reckoned with. There's a lot of experience, dude. There's a lot of knowledge, and there's a lot of listening to each other too that I see.
And I think that's a big thing where a lot of people don't understand that. You go into a group, right? If you're a new hunter, so you're reaching out to these guys, don't be that guy that reaches out a week before and, hey, what are we hunting? Like, I haven't talked to you all year, or you're not hunting with us. Like, don't be that guy. Ask where you can, like, scout. And a lot of people, me included, they don't want you to say, hey, I'll scout. You just got to tell me when. No, just talk to those people. Say, hey, I'm going out scouting today. Where do you want me to go?
Right.
And that's all that matters. Like, that goes a long way with these guys.
Yeah.
The communication between the group is huge.
Huge.
The effort between the group is huge. I wasn't here, was it last weekend?
Mm-hmm.
No, 2 weekends ago. 2 weekends ago. I wasn't here.
Yeah, 2 weekends ago.
You and a couple other guys, my dad, Brandon.
Good daddy.
Without a question, you guys were there helping out, brushing in blinds and stuff. And it's like a well-oiled machine, man. Everything's got to be working properly to be able to be successful during the year.
Yeah. Nobody
can do everything by themselves. Nobody can just set everything up and then you just magically think that everything's good to go. Like it takes a real team to be successful in this industry.
100%.
And it's a lot different than it used to be in this industry. So that's what I'm saying. Going back to, these random guide services popping up, or these guys that are just thinking that they're going to blow up. There's a lot more that goes behind the scenes.
Oh my God. So much
that they don't want to put up with.
Right.
Trust me. Cause it's coming from me and you, Wise. Like we know what it takes.
Oh,
It's tough.
Dude, it's tough as an understatement. I mean, I don't know how some of these guys don't get burnt out. Like I
don't know how we don't get burnt out.
I know. But by the end of the year, I'll tell you right now, I'm like ready. I'm like, dude, this was a lot. Because it is. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot on the phone. It's a lot of driving. It's a lot of time away from the family.
The family thing is a huge thing too. I mean,
yeah,
like you got to have the right.
Understand that either.
You got to have the right support behind you.
Yeah, you have to. If you don't, man, that's something that can make you drop like a fly in this game. If you don't have the right woman behind you.
No, for sure. I mean, you got to have a support system behind you. That's a big thing, because to be able to ground yourself at the end of the day, you got to be able to shut it off. And I got a bad time shutting it off for me, because I'm always thinking about something with waterfowl or outdoor industry or whatever it may be.
I feel like my coworkers at work get sick of hearing about it. Like I can tell too. Because like they don't even respond when I say stuff half the time. I don't know if they don't know what to say, but I feel like sometimes they just don't even know. They're just like, dude, this kid doesn't even think about work.
Yeah, I feel.
You know what I mean?
I feel that 100%. I don't know, and it kind of does make me worried. I know we got a pretty good feed opening day, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have a good shoot. But the rest of the early season, man, I am kind of worried about it. Not gonna lie. I'll knock on wood too with you.
Yeah.
The new accent wall we just put in. I am worried there's not a whole lot of wheat by us this year. Or we don't have permission on a whole lot of wheat.
Yeah. I think it's going to go a lot faster than we think, though.
I kind of hope so, man, because the first week when we're going to be gone.
If not, let's go get 5-6 guys and just go. Me and you know where to go pound teal.
That's what we usually do. We do.
Yeah.
We do usually do that.
See, I didn't know that, but
yeah, I mean, and we usually take like 2, 3, 4 tops guys. So we do usually at least do 3 to 4 teal hunts a year, even if it's just an afternoon where we know there's not geese in the area. Like we'll go try to shoot a teal or two.
Yeah.
But the third weekend of September, the second weekend of September, we're going to be in town for the mornings. The afternoons, we might be at the Woods and Water. That's kind of new to us now.
Yep.
Woods and Water show. I think it's a 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe it is. So we'll be there in the afternoon. The third weekend, we'll be at Point Moulet.
Yep.
So come check us out there. And then the fourth and 5th, I think that's, to be honest with you, man, I think that's when the beans are going to start coming down.
4th, 5th week
of September, like late September. I think some of the corn might even start coming down.
Start getting chopped.
It's an early year, I feel like. And I just heard today, the beginning of October is going to be highs of 50.
Really?
And I know it's a month away, but that's what I heard. So if that's the case, I think a lot of these crops are even going to start coming down, and the bird flight is going to be...
It's going to be hectic.
Right.
Up in the sky.
Because I think a lot of the birds last year got hung up north.
Hung up, man.
They never flew down.
There was open water up in freaking Saskatchewan and Manitoba until November.
Right. So I think...
That ain't right, brother, man.
I think this year is going to be one of those years that it's going to be... You're going to wish you wanted to be out here.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope so. I've been praying for these cold falls and cold winters for the last 2 years now, man.
See, I don't know if
we're just going through one of those years. I think last year and the year before, it just happens, you know.
I don't know if we're gonna have a big freeze up,
right,
or anything, but I do think we're gonna get the weather that we've wanted.
The older guys have seen this too, though.
It's like a cycle, man. It's all it is. It's like the bird numbers, right? Like, I feel like, and maybe I'm the only guy that thinks this way, but there's a cycle between the birds where there's going to be 1 year there's going to be a lot of black ducks. There's going to be 1 year where there's a lot of pintails around. There's going to be 1 year where there's a lot, you don't see a ton of them, but there's more widgeon around.
I think the same exact way you do, like that. Like last year for us, it was spoonies here. So did you kill any spoonies last year?
I've never killed a spoonie in a field.
Are you kidding?
Never. I've killed...
Okay, well, not in a field.
I've killed spoonies before.
We were killing spoonies last year, like... in Wisconsin, and when I would come here at Moulet. Like, just, that was the main core of what we were killing was spoonies.
So my, like, I can't even remember the last time I hunted water, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, big water, I should say. Like, ponds and stuff, and private lakes, like, yeah, that's one thing, but, like, the big water, I can't tell you the last time. So it's hard. Like, the only thing we've ever killed in the fields were... black ducks, pintails, mallards, geese, and snow geese. And I think that's it. And farm ducks. Like, we've killed a few, like, strange-looking farm ducks that...
No teal?
No teal in the fields, no wood ducks in the fields. And even, like, that flooded corn that we had last year.
Yeah.
We didn't even kill a wood duck out of there last year.
Really?
Yeah, which was very surprising for me.
Wood ducks was really surprising, too. Sometimes you get the teal buzz by.
Yeah, we never got any of that. And I know they were there early season when I was scouted, but they must have just left. Because I think we got that cold snap last year, like super early.
Yeah.
Here anyway, and they just all...
You remember that last year?
It was like...
It was in October. I remember that. Yeah, it was in October, and I can't remember... I want to say it was like the 15th around there, or the end, like 18th, 15th in that time frame.
I want to say there was one like late September too.
Maybe that was it.
And it wasn't a big cold snap, but it was cold enough to be able to push some birds out.
Yeah.
And then it warmed back up.
I remember because it got cold and then it warmed up a ton.
Kind of like what we're going with right now.
Freaking screws everything up. It gets so screwy. My personal opinion is I think like when shit like that happens, like it stays hot up north, I think it sounds ignorant, but they don't forget to migrate, but they're like, we don't need to migrate. We have everything here. We have open water. We have food right there. Why would we move?
The only thing that pushes those birds, those hardy birds, unless they're the calendar birds, are a lockup, or is a lockup.
A full-blown lockup.
Yeah, because, I mean, even the backpack knowledge that we've been getting now, you could be in the middle of January and everything is locked up. Say, like, I think the study was like in northern Canada or mid-Canada, somewhere up in Canada, I believe. And it was in the single digits or negatives, and they had a backpack coming to a subdivision pond that had a bubbler in it, and then going to the grain bin to feed and just bouncing back and forth. Because have you heard about anything about like the new mallard kind of thing that they're talking about?
Well, it depends what.
like it's like a new like I don't want to say it's like a hybrid, but like they're so hardy now where they are staying till the end. Like they are not moving at all because they're so used to.
See, I didn't explain it right. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like some of those birds are getting like those puddlers, especially the mallards and black ducks they're getting so big, and they're some of the ones that me and you kill, dude. They're like lessers. Why would they move until it freezes? That's what I mean. Like I feel like they're just not. That migration is getting
tougher and tougher.
Like weeded out of them. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they need to migrate is getting like weeded out of them. Like they're evolving, I guess you could say.
And that goes even with the migrations changing every year because of the solar panels coming in.
Yeah, that too, and the wind turbines and all that bullshit.
The
way to go, Bidenomics.
There's one area where we hunt. They just got approved for 1,000 acres of solar panels. Which
really?
I mean, like that's changing birds' paths. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, that changes that changes habitat for all the animals out there.
Right, and a lot of people don't like see it that way.
God, I hate hearing shit like that.
It's just one. I don't know. It's very tough because it kind of makes you wonder, like, even what the future is, because we've said it in previous podcasts as well, like what the future holds. And to be honest with you, when we switched to 5 geese in September and 5 geese regular season, it kind of made me worry about if we shoot enough birds, are we going to go back down to like the 2 bird limits, or are we doing enough for the future wise? You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of, I think about that stuff a lot.
I don't think the mass, I don't even think 60% of duck hunters and goose hunters are doing what they should be for conservation. Like the things me and you try to do and try to preach. I don't think.
No.
I mean, even just getting involved with your local state game areas or getting involved in your local sportsmen's clubs, conservation clubs. No one's doing that.
No.
Not anymore. People just want to post pictures.
I'm super happy the way that we're turning out though with all of this, because I mean the way that we're getting
embedded with the youth,
involved with it all. Again, it goes back to like I never thought I'd be in a situation like I am now. I love the sport, but I never thought I'd be.
I always knew at one point. This is gonna sound bad
coming from quote unquote.
Yeah, my way I always saw myself is I always saw myself hunting alone, because there's always bullshit with groups. There's always. Depends. I mean, unless they're your buddies you grew up with your whole life. You know what I mean? Then you're going to bicker and banter, but.
And that's tough, because I will say there is BS with our group as well. I will say that, but I think you already know
what it is. It's nothing that's like what I've dealt with before. We'll just put it that way.
And that is what's nice, like
where it's detrimental is what I mean.
Hunting with the family, how I started off hunting, I started off I was the only waterfowl hunter in the family. I got my dad and my uncle involved, and then we started getting buddies off of that. And I'm going to disagree a lot with what people are doing or saying and whatnot. And I don't know everything, and I'll take whatever you got to say into consideration. But at least put your weight in. You know 100%. What I mean? And that's the biggest thing that like we go back and forth with as a group. And I feel like a lot of these groups around here, and even all over the country wise, like they don't really stick it to the people that they give a lot of free handouts, and I'm horrible with it. I'm horrible with, oh yeah, just come out, like you didn't do nothing about it, but yeah, come on out, like whatever. I don't care. And a lot of the time I don't care, but when I really break it down, I feel like that's a lot of my stress, because I worry about so many good hunts that I hope this guy has a really good hunt today with us, because I want him to see what we can do, or like what we can, like what we're doing every day, because I know he doesn't like have this.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that person should be just lucky to come out into a field that he usually doesn't go to.
I mean, I've never met anybody like you in my life. There's people that won't even like tell you that they field hunt, and that's all they do.
Yeah. Well, there's a story about that too.
You know what I mean?
I almost texted you yesterday about a certain somebody that you talked to at the training day. That posted a picture about going out, like can't wait to go back out chasing these birds.
Yeah.
But a person that hasn't been hunting or isn't going to hunt this much this year.
Got it.
And I seen it and I was like, it's such a cutthroat thing, man. It's
I
crazy.
know.
It's absolutely crazy.
I know.
You can't, I mean, and granted, I'm not going to tell people where I hunt at.
Yeah.
But do I really care if you find out? No, because I got it pretty much locked. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't care, but it's just, I don't know. It's just one of them things.
But I mean, I think like you said, like, you know, you're narrowing the group down this year, trying to keep it core people, which I think is going to be a really good thing because we put a lot of work into this shit, and for other people to just backpack off of us and show up, and it's like, I don't know. You spend so much time away from your family that it's like, and money, and it's like, you're just going to show up, and especially if they bitch and complain. I will snap.
It goes back to the whole thing where, like, even when your dad was in here the other day, it's like, once you're in the family, you're in.
Yeah.
But if you mess it up, then don't expect a whole lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to work at it. Because then if you don't work at it, like trying to get back into like that trustworthy state, I guess. And that sounds petty of me to say that.
No, that's the truth with this shit.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't try, and there's really no excuses with it all, because you got a kid, I got a nephew from you. We got people at the house. We got priorities to take care of at home.
Oh yeah.
And with the family. And we still make the time up.
Yep.
And it goes back to, I think we talked about it a little bit last week on the podcast with going to the farmers every year, and when you're scouting, get these properties, but don't talk to them once a year. Keep talking to them.
Yeah.
On a daily basis almost. Don't blow their phone up, but I mean, like.
I mean, look at that other night we just had. We rolled in there, man. 12 o'clock at night, brother, man.
What's that one?
The one where we rolled in at 12 o'clock at night. Walked in the garage. Hey, what's going on?
At the properties?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of relationship you got to have with these people. Like, dude almost shot you last time you rolled up there.
Yeah.
These are some hard people, but, man, once you get on their good side and they know there's a partnership there, it's a special thing, man, because these are random strangers with their land that their dad or you know what I mean?
It's a family at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're creating more family members. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they do so much for us, then at the end of the day, what are we really doing for them?
Right.
Killing birds off their properties? They don't care about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For you scouting wise, what are you looking for in scouting? Like if you're getting into a new area, if I send you a pin tomorrow and I just say, hey, check this area out, what are you looking for?
First thing I'm looking for is water. I want to know where the water's at in that area.
That's huge.
Without water, there ain't no birds. I tell you that right now. So first thing, I'm gonna find the water hole in that town where they're going, where they want to be, where they're loafing at, where they're roosting at, whatever it may have you. And then we're just gonna keep hitting that area every day to see what fields they're hitting, see what kind of ag it is, see what they're hitting, what they're on.
See, I kind of learned that.
Kind of talk around too,
to where, like, you could look at that field, and I want to say too, for the people that are listening, I feel like we did talk about a lot of these topics last week, but I also want to say, like, when you are checking an area, if there ain't birds in there right now, and I was bad with this my first year scouting. One scouting is priority throughout the hunting season.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't scout, don't expect to go out there and bang the birds up. Not that is everything, but don't expect to go out. Excuse me. Don't go out there to expect to shoot a pile every day.
Yeah.
Don't go out there, shoot 2 or 3 birds, go on social media and say, man, I got to burn them up today. I wonder why. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
You ain't scouting, man. And that goes for water and the fields.
100%. Go back to what you just said too. Like,
find where them birds are, and if you want them bad enough, you're gonna get to them spots.
You're gonna watch their every move. You know what I'm saying?
Even on the water though, if they're in that back pocket and you got an outboard motor that you can't get back into it with, you're gonna find a way.
Walk that boat in,
you're
or something,
find
right?
it out, man.
Yeah. But it goes back to what you're saying before. Like, even if you send me a pin tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say there's a freaking cut cornfield and there's a pond right next to it. Or there's a pond freaking 100 yards behind it, right? And there's no birds in there. I'm still knocking on that door and getting permission. Because come that time,
right?
That's the fucking spot that's going to be loaded. But that also comes with, I think, just experience too.
It definitely comes with experience. It definitely does. Because like I said, my first year or two, man, like I would check some spots out. There'd be no birds there. Come late season, the thing was full, but I was late to the party already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and just because you say no, you got to be able to read the person that says no. Because, like, the farm that we hunt, it took us 2, 3, 4 years to get onto it.
Which I think it's crazy.
But, like, we kind of understood, like, the whole thing. Like, they're not going to trust a bunch of guys going out to some random field.
That's their livelihood.
Start something even like low, like, hey, can I just pigeon hunt this?
Yeah.
They're going to gain
rabbit
trust
hunt
with you
right.
and go off of that. And then build, you're going to start creating a bond with that person. You're going to start creating relationships with other farmers that, since you can hunt this or do this at this piece, I'll let you go over here and do that. And that was the biggest thing for me and why I'm so successful. And that sounds real bad too. But why, like, I have the opportunities that I have.
Yeah.
Because I understood, like, what I needed to do and how I needed to talk to some of these people.
Right.
Not that it's fake. It's not a fake conversation by any means, but it's just the fact that you're going to say no because so-and-so's hunting it. Well, I'm going to come back even earlier next year to make sure that they're hunting it again.
Yeah.
And maybe you're just going to give me 1 field, maybe 2 fields. Well, that's good because that's all I needed was cracking the door.
Yeah.
Because the next year, I'm hoping you give me 3, 4 fields.
Right.
Or lead me in the direction where, hey, there's birds over here and I know nobody hunts that over there. Go ask this guy. Just tell him I sent you over there.
Yep.
Bingo, bango. You're in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's all it takes. But and I don't know if we talked about this either. Highways are a big thing.
Yeah. I personally too think
for
like,
scouting wise.
Yeah. I personally think like with highways now, them birds kind of follow them. You ever notice that?
I have, yeah. I have.
I noticed that it almost seems like they use the highway as a navigational beacon to get to where they want to go or to, they're in their remembrance in their brains of where to go. It's what it feels like to me because every time you see them, sometimes they'll be flying straight with you down the highway.
No, I do too. Especially at night. They say that they follow the
streetlights,
headlights,
really.
Vehicles.
How true that is, we don't know, right?
Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Nobody can speak bird.
I mean, there's no true migrational pattern that's locked down on them where you're like, yep, they go from here to here to here to here at this time, and this is consistent. There's no even piece on that.
No, there's not. But that's the same because there's been a lot of times where we hunt at, they'll just show up in the middle of the night, and they're there.
Yeah. It happened a lot in Wisconsin last year.
But the thing is, too, that I think a lot of people don't understand, just because you got, say you got 3 big lakes in a 10-mile radius, right? And they're all holding birds. if one flock gets up from one lake and goes to a different lake and starts hitting the fields around that lake, they're new birds to the area.
100%. They don't know shit.
They don't know nothing.
No.
So you have to know like the birds that you're hunting, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just
you can tell too, bro.
Well, you can, but like people don't realize like they're not true migrators. They're not like the whole.
Yeah.
I take that back. They're migrators because they are migrating to a certain area.
Right.
Right. But they're not like the.
From Saskatchewan came down 3 days ago. Yeah.
Right.
True mile sky high, 100 of them.
New birds.
Right.
So if you like study the scouting trip, like you can get a lot more information than what you think.
I mean, you can, and good tips for that is like look at the size of the group of the birds you've been watching for the past month, and then size, I mean population of them, right? So there's 40, okay, now there's like 70 or 80, you know there's new birds. Those totally could be entirely new birds. You don't know. But then again, another thing I go off of too is size of the bird, right? You can tell as well too, like, holy, those are some big, those migrated in, those are some big bastards. Those are not the ones I've been seeing. So, you know,
I kind of take it a different route, to be honest with you.
Let's hear it.
And I'm not saying you're wrong by any means. This is just the way I look at it. I think the bigger geese that you're shooting are your local birds that are flying in from different ponds, that are like the true graders that are flying in from the 10-mile away pond, and this is the open water. This is where all the birds are at. This is where we want to be. This is where I want to bring our goslings here to eat or feed, whatever it is. Like, and you know, they might have one or two at that time, but like, this is where I want to be at because it's safe. And that's the whole, it goes back to where you're not shooting up the roost every single day, or you're not shooting the fields up every single day. When I go out and scout, if I see a big group of birds and they're all spread out or they're in their little family groups, there are a lot of, I don't want to say the locals, but like the local ponds
from the area
is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The migrators, from what I've realized or what I've seen, is they're tiny birds. They got little fat on them because they've been flying so far away where they're burning a ton of calories flying down, and they're feeding right on top of each other because they haven't fed in
forever.
Who knows when?
Right.
And there's a lot of food, and they're feeding almost like snows. They're just beating the shit out of each other just to try to get on.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that to where, okay, I got a flock. I got a field loaded here, and the birds are all compact and they're feeding on top of each other. But I got a field over here that's got the same amount, but they're a little bit more spread out. They're a little bit more cautious with each other. Them new birds are probably going to be the easier birds to kill.
100%.
Or go after, I should
yeah.
say, because they're fresh to the area. And I'm talking, some of them are a little bit bigger than mallards.
Yeah.
But they're fresher to the area. They're not going to really know. We could set up an A-frame really wherever, and they're not going to really be able to tell what's going on. Them birds that are, 10 miles away, they might have seen a couple A-frames already. Not that the little ones haven't either, but flying that far is a lot different than flying 10 miles. And that's just kind of the way I look at it, like during my scout, I should say. Okay. And the way I put the decoys out and, where we hide at.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that does. That makes total sense. My experience last year where I really just goose hunted and didn't really duck hunt last year. I mean, I did, but our group mainly just goose hunted, and that was one of the first times in years that I've done that. A lot of the birds we had, like, during our late season, why I say that, were freaking just big birds, size-wise. The biggest one Gavin has ever killed last year was last year in, like, December. And it was Hugh freaking Mungus. And the whole flock that had landed in that field that come in, they were all huge birds, like big mass-wise. And I don't know, it just felt like they were eating good. And they weren't, because like I said, where we were hunting, there's only so many places for those birds to go and to, so they had to be ones that were migrational birds. You know what I'm saying? There's, unless they reversed it, but they wouldn't reverse it, I don't think, that late.
And I take what I say into, like, you got to take it into consideration where we've shot a few bands from the areas.
Yeah.
To kind of get some research for ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good way too.
To where
I never thought of that.
We kind of know, or like I kind of know, you shoot a band. We shot 2 bands last year. I think that's all we shot. We shot close to 700 birds total last year. I think we shot a total of 2 goose bands and 2 mallard bands. That's all we shot. I kind of have an idea on those goose bands.
Really?
And I was very, very close on where
they came from. Yeah.
But it takes like that extra step of knowledge, or not even knowledge. It just takes that extra step of like, let me put that in a memory bank. Let me hang on to that information, because that might help me out. You know, goose hunting and duck hunting is not hard if you break it down. If you break it down to more of like a scientific level of it all, to where like the calling aspect of it all, early season, you don't have to call a lot, or the spreads, like it's not that hard to get the birds in. You just have to take the extra steps to understand why they're doing what they're doing at that time. And once you get that, you're a lot better off.
Comes with time, though.
It does.
Comes with a lot.
It does.
I'm going to be honest with you, that comes with a lot of time. That comes with a lot of scouting time, a lot of eyes on the field, a lot of hunts, a lot of watching birds.
And that's what you just, right there, what you just said, scouting and putting eyes on just the birds.
Yeah.
And wanting to know that, though. Because I could look at fields all day, but if I don't want to know or don't care to know,
you're not going to retain it.
That's what I'm saying. But if you break it down, it's a lot easier than people think. It's just like anything in reality, like hockey. Hockey's not really a good. I guess it is. For me as a catcher in high school and college, if I was able to slow the game down, because the catcher runs like the game,
right?
If I was able to slow the game down, I had a lot better off. Like I had a better game than the game going fast, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you could analyze it better. You can control it at your pace, your speed.
Right. And I know it's a wild animal and you can't control it, but at the same time, like you kind of can, to where the spreads are or the calling, or, you know, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain on what I'm trying to say.
Mean. I get what you mean. I'm trying to think of a word for it.
I don't know. I know a lot of people are going to get confused on that, but it's just not overthinking is the biggest thing, because a lot of people overthink on, we got to have this amount of silhouettes and we got to have this. You don't.
What'd you see in the field for the past 3 days, right?
Match the hatch, man.
Match the hatch. That's literally it. I truly believe in that.
Even if you can't match the hatch, we probably ran at most last year 1 or 2 times. We only ran 7 dozen. I know that's a lot, but
not compared to some people, bro.
7 dozen total. But majority of the time, we were probably running only 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Because it was realistic. And once you, like, even that, the realism of your spread and your calling, and it goes back to even last week when I was talking about calling on the edges, like, they're going to be able to pinpoint you if they're
hear where it's coming from.
Yeah, they're going to pin you if they're pressured birds at all.
Yeah.
Knowing that right there. Like, you didn't know that, right, before?
No, I never even thought of that.
Knowing that now, though.
Yeah.
How much easier is it to have a flock of birds coming around you and, you know, stopping, and they get behind you, you hit the calls a little bit more, and not a lot, but just a little bit more. You know, it's just one of them things where it's, I don't know, just breaking it down, simplifying it all. Don't beat yourself up about it, you know. I don't know.
I agree. But I've also had days where I'm like, I felt like we've done everything completely right to the T, and it's just They don't want to play ball.
No, and that is some of the days for sure.
With guys that are like as experienced as us, and some days they're in that field for freaking 3 days. It's not fed out. There's a whole side that they're moving to and feeding towards. We know that they've been in there. They're in there last night. We have everything matched perfectly. Hides in the middle of it. Hides in the middle. I'm thinking this one hunt. Hides literally in a ditch. A-frames in a ditch. The grass is same level as the grass coming out of it. Nothing off.
Well, it kind of makes you wonder, though, like how smart them birds are about the feeding areas, though, because I feel like,
dude,
I know you can force a bird, like there's an X within an X, right? There's an X field, and then there's an X where those birds want to be.
Yeah.
So
because you can narrow it down to that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So if you do narrow it down to that, you can force some birds to get to you, but they don't want to be where you're at the same point.
Right.
But that also comes back to, in my opinion, calling and decoys. My decoys, I'll run my decoys 200 yards left or right. Just so the birds aren't focused on that one area.
Right.
But I still have that main pocket where they're going to land at.
Yeah.
And that might be the reason why, because they're scanning the whole area. They know why, like, the birds are spread out because there's not a whole lot of food left there. You know, there's so many different things that you could do.
That hunt I was just talking about, those birds circled us. It was the most frustrating hunt I've ever been on. They probably circled us 7 to 8 times. Like one of those, like close upwards of 10 times.
Was it with hawk?
No.
Oh.
Come back down. And it was just like, and they wanted it so bad, but you could tell as you're looking up like this, you can see that they're all looking down, scanning. So they'd pick back up, but then they'd come back down. And it's like, what the fuck?
Were the decoys like super close together?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, they were.
So, right there.
I'm not a fan of that, but you can't, if it's someone else's hunt, you can't say anything.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. But that's what I'm saying. Like with the decoys spread out wide, they have a lot bigger of an area to scan and less time to pick you out and pinpoint you.
Right.
But then you also have to be courteous of the calling. Because if you got decoys way out 100 yards, you're calling at the geese in front of you, like the decoys in front of you. You're not calling for the birds that are way out there.
You're right.
So that's when like the whole team calling comes in too, where both of those guys got to understand that you're calling for the birds that are in front of you and not way out.
Yeah. I got you.
I'm crazy about it.
No, man. I know you are, and I'm thinking about your dad last year. God, he's so funny, man.
I don't know.
He's here. You call here. He hurried up and grabbed Tim Brown's sweet meat off his back. He goes, here, you gotta go. Because mine wasn't, it was locked. Was it locked up? No, I forgot him that day.
I don't think you brought
I don't even think I brought him.
That was a good hunt, though.
Dude, that was, I call that the runway field.
You know what's crazy, though?
That's literally how they come in, as like a freaking runway.
You know what's crazy, though? Even that hunt late season, pressured birds, we ran, 3 dozen decoys, maybe tops.
At most, brother.
And we spread them out to where it looked like it was a ton.
Yeah.
And
they were in the hole, brother, man.
We barely even called.
Didn't need to.
You know what I'm saying?
They knew where they wanted to be.
Well, and the
minute they saw it, that was a traffic field.
The funny thing is, they weren't even there.
I know. That's what I'm saying, traffic field. But they knew where they wanted to be when they saw it, though.
Knowingly, if we put it underneath them and they see it, we don't need a call because they've been hearing calls all year. And they hear that one note that's off, then they know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But knowing that, though, is even September, you don't need to run your calls full bore.
Right.
Just get their attention and shut up. And I know it's hard to do, but just get their attention and be quiet. That's all you need.
That's it.
I don't know.
How many was there last year on that hunt with us? 6 people?
6 or 8 or something like that. 7. I'd say 6 to 8. Yeah, something like that.
That was a fun hunt.
It was. Another thing before we wrap this whole thing up is dogs in September.
Gotta watch.
Dogs are going to be as rusty as you are in September.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to be out there putting a hammer down in September, let alone any time of the year with your dog. You just need to put more work in with your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Your dog's going to get better as the season goes on because it's going to get more reps.
More repetition. They're going to be used to it. They're going to know what's going on.
And it's tough because I know training is going to do one thing, but it's not the field.
Yeah.
Right? And it's no excuse not to train your dog to your best, like to the best that you can do. But dog training, the dogs are going to jump. They're excited just as like you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to jump the shot. What's important for the people that are hunting with you are for them to understand that as well.
Yeah.
To understand, hey, this is my dog out there retrieving your birds. If my dog runs out there, I don't care if it's a double-banded Jack Miner with a neck collar on it.
Yeah.
You ain't shooting a bird.
Right.
Because my dog's in danger.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion.
Right.
But you can't get mad at that dog, though, is what I'm saying. Like, especially if you're not putting in the work with it.
There's so many people that don't and then burn their fucking dog when it comes that time. It makes me so sad. Because, like, it's operator error. It's not the dog's fault.
Oh, 100%.
It's operator error. You're the one not putting the time in with your dog all summer. Like, you should be at least, I say even at least 1 to 2 times a week.
100%. And it's like you said, it is sad.
And they're out there scolding the dog, burning the dog.
But I will say, too, that if you got a group of guys that you're hunting with and you go out there in the morning and say, hey, my dog might burn a flock or two, but it's going to be what it's going to be. I know another flock's coming after that. So it just, bear with me. I want to get this dog better. And there's no better time than now to really get it in the field working.
Right.
Just bear with me with it, and I apologize in advance. And if they don't understand that, they got no business being out there with you.
Right. I agree. Yeah, because now I think about it, man. Them dogs come September. It don't matter how much you train them. They're just rusty.
The feathers, the scent, I mean,
everything
the guns,
is so new to
everything.
It's
man.
new to them again. They love the feathers. They love the scent. Yeah, and they're just rolling in it. And
right, it's all new stuff, man.
Don't be a Cole. Who's that? Cole Prevost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be that dude.
Whatever the guy.
Don't be a September version of that Cole Prevost.
Yeah. Don't be that guy.
I'm gonna find you in your dreams.
But you got anything else for September? I know.
I got one thing for our listeners here. What do you guys want to hear about early season? Why don't you go ahead?
Well, just even the season alone.
Yeah, or the season, early season, dogs. Drop some questions in the DMs. Drop them on the comments when we post reels and pictures. Let us know what you guys want to hear. If there's anything that new waterfowlers want to hear, they want to learn about, want opinions on, man, just reach out to us and ask.
Or even guests that you would like to hear, because I mean we got some big guests coming up on here.
Yeah.
We got some really big guys coming on here.
We ain't spoiling it, but we got some big guests.
Yeah. But even if it's a 10-minute podcast, I'll do it for somebody that wants to know about a certain situation.
100%.
Or reach out to us on social media, message us, and I'm more than happy. We're more than happy to get back with you and give you our opinion on whatever situation you're talking about. Don't be that guy. It just popped up in my head right now.
Let's hear it.
Don't be that guy that scouts other people's shit. If you got an area, stick to your area, man. Yeah. Once you got a core group of guys, even if there's more groups in the area, become friends with them guys, man. Yeah. Becomes buddies with them guys.
Hey, man, you don't know.
Work together.
That, and you don't, listen, I'm going to tell you all young bucks right now, you don't know if that group's got an enforcer that don't like that. It's a team, man.
A lot of them don't like that.
No.
You're stepping on toes is what you're doing.
And you better hope you don't run into the group's enforcer, man, because he's going to let you have it.
But the thing is, it's just stay in your lane, help each other out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everybody's going to be more successful in that, like doing it that way.
100%.
But going back to whoever you guys want to have on the podcast, get a hold of us on the social media. We're more than willing to help anybody out. There ain't no secrets for us.
No. We try to use our platform for as positive as we can make it. And for, people that don't have as much experience or with experience and still have questions, you just let us know.
And not that we're even the top guys. It's just we're going to give you our opinions on what has made us successful so far, and hopefully it does the same with you guys.
100%.
But you got anything else, man?
No.
I'm excited for this upcoming Sunday, and
it's going to be a ripper. I can't wait. Regardless, it's going to be fun. It's going to be nice to get out there.
It will.
Yeah.
But for everybody that is going out this Sunday, stay safe out there, shoot straight, and send us some pictures on how you guys do.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited to see how everybody's doing this September, because from what I can see, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Another grind like it was last year, but if you love it, you'll do it.
Just another year, man.
That's it.
Until next week, guys, good luck this Sunday. I appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.